Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's talk about your house for a second. What if I told you that one of the biggest energy hogs in your home, the thing that's secretly jacking up your electricity bill, could actually become your secret weapon against high costs and even power cuts? Yep, today we're breaking down the smart solar switch. We're going to see how you can turn your existing hot water geyser into a money-saving machine that keeps the hot water flowing no matter what. All right, so here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll pinpoint that hidden energy culprit in your home. Then, we'll get into the really cool part, the smart conversion solution and exactly how it all works. After that, we'll look at the different engines you can choose from, some pro tips for getting the most sun, and then the big finale, the actual real-world savings. Let's do it. All right, section 1. Let's start by talking about your home's biggest energy hog. This thing is working away silently in the background, but trust me, its impact on your bill is loud. So, have you ever looked at your electricity bill and just wondered what on earth is using up all that power? It feels like there's some kind of phantom appliance running 24/7. And this gets even more obvious during power outages, right? When you're trying to save every single watt, there's one device that's just quietly draining your wallet. Yep, you guessed it. It's your electric geyser. I mean, think about it. Its whole job is to keep a huge tank of water hot all day, all night, constantly sipping power from the grid. It's a massive pain point, not just for your bank account, but especially for your comfort when the lights go out and you're left with a cold shower. Okay, but what if you could fix this without a huge, expensive overhaul? I mean, what if you could just use the geyser you already have? Well, that brings us to the smart conversion solution. Now, this is the really crucial part. We're talking about a conversion, not a replacement. The whole idea is to adapt the electric geyser you've already got and turn it into a solar-powered one. That simple change means you get to skip the massive cost of buying a whole new solar geyser system from scratch. So, how does this all connect? How do you actually pull off this magic trick of hooking up a standard geyser to the sun? Well, it's actually way simpler than you might think. It basically breaks down into 3 simple steps. Okay, so first, a special conversion valve gets fitted onto your existing geyser. That's step 1. Step 2, a solar panel goes up on your roof, and that gets connected to a tiny, really efficient 12-volt pump. And then, for the final piece of the puzzle, you add the brains of the whole operation, a smart controller, usually called a GeyserWise, which manages everything for you automatically. And this is where the system gets really, really smart. That GeyserWise controller is always monitoring the water temperature. So let's say it's a cloudy day, right? And the sun just hasn't been able to do its job. Well, the controller knows this, and it'll automatically kick in the electrical backup to get that water up to a nice, toasty 55 degrees Celsius. The bottom line, you are never caught with a cold shower. Okay, so now that we know how it all connects, it's time to choose your solar engine. And by that, I mean the solar panel itself, the real heart of the system. You've basically got 2 main choices here. On one hand, you've got the traditional flat plate panel. This is the tried and true technology. It's reliable, it's been around for a while, and it's generally a bit cheaper to install. On the other hand, you have the newer kid on the block, the vacuum tube solar panel. It's a little more expensive up front, but it is known for being super, super efficient. So let's talk numbers, because that's what really matters, right? For a typical 150-liter geyser, which is good for about 2 or 3 people, you're looking at around 16,900 South African Rand for the flat plate panel. Or you could go for the vacuum tube, which comes in at about 18,900. If you've got a bigger 200-liter geyser for a larger family, the prices go up a little bit from there. Seeing it laid out like this really helps make the choice real, and you can see exactly how it fits into your budget. All right, next up, getting the most sun. Because look, owning a solar geyser isn't just about installing the hardware and walking away. It's also about a few smart habits, a few small adjustments that can help you squeeze every last drop of energy out of the sun and really maximize those savings. So the real trick here is to work with the sun, not against it. For example, the water is going to be at its absolute hottest late in the afternoon after a full day of sunshine, right? So showering in the evenings means you're using that free solar energy at its peak. And of course, placement is everything. A north-facing roof with 0 shade is going to give you the best results, period. Plus, don't forget you can fine-tune the system yourself, like setting the timer for the backup or using the handy holiday mode to stop it from overheating when you're not home. Okay, so we've talked about the tech, we've talked about the habits. What's the actual payoff? Let's get to the part we all care about, the real-world savings. And here it is. This is the number that really makes all the difference.
We're talking about a potential 30 to 40% reduction, not just on your water heating costs, but on your total electricity bill. That is a huge chunk of change month after month after month.
So, when you put it all together, it really boils down to three incredible benefits. First off, you get a serious dose of energy independence. That little 12-volt pump runs on a battery, which means hot water even when the power is out. Second, of course, are the massive cost savings we just mentioned. And third, it's just smart. The GeyserWise controller is doing all the thinking for you, so you don't have to. When you really think about it, this is way more than just another home upgrade. This is about taking back control. It's about gaining reliability, gaining comfort, and saving a whole lot of money in the process. You're literally transforming one of your home's biggest energy liabilities into a smart, self-sufficient asset. So I guess that just leaves one last question. Is it time to let the sun start paying for your hot showers?